Hey folks, today we're covering Tinto Flavor 29, and this is going to be on Milan and Naples. This is kind of following on from the last Dev Diary, which was around the Italian Wars, the Guelphs and the Ghibellines, because these two realms were the leaders of both of those factions. So it kind of follows on from that one. But they are going to start here talking about Milan, what they've been doing in the recent history, and then what you might be doing in the near future. And then you can see the graphical version of this. You can see the Signoria of Milan, and then you can see the flag. Is that a dragon eating a man? I've never noticed that flag before, but anyway, you can see it there. You can see the current ruler, 66, 33, 66. That could be his stats at the start of the game. As always, everything we see in the Dev Diaries is work in progress. This probably will change when the game comes out. You can see the primary culture is Lombard. Primary religion, obviously Catholicism at this point. 29 buildings, nearly 1 million people. 65 gold, 13,000 troops, and then it is Milan, so 0 ships. You can see the breakdown of the cultures and religions then. Lombardy, obviously the main one, and Catholicism, pretty much everyone that lives in this realm. Next, they're going to show us some maps. The first one here being the terrain version. You can kind of see where Milan is, that kind of purpley colour in the middle, and then all the other city-states that are around them. You can see that on the next screenshot as well, a little bit easier. This is the political map view, and you can see Milan, you've got Venice, Pavia, Parma, Genoa, all these realms around Italy. As they just said on Wednesday, a lot of things going on in this region pretty much through the entirety of the game. But obviously Milan, Genoa, Venice in a good place at the beginning to have some real impact as you do play through this. Next, they're going to show us some of the structural content, and they're going to start here with the government reform. And this is Dynastic Signoria. This gives noble levy size plus 10%, replace cabinet member cost minus 10%, monthly prestige 0.10, estate enrichment minus 10%, possible government reforms plus 1 as well. So this is a confederation of city-states ruled by the same dynasty. The dynastic signoria often involved a consolidation of power in a small group of influential individuals known as the signori, and that is what this is representing in game. So you'll have the government reform, and then you'll have the succession law that is tied to it. So you can see that on the screen now. All of the ruler's dynasty is considered through siblings of ruler, through female lines, allows male as well. And then the allowed estates to kind of vote on this is pretty much everyone, apart from obviously the commoners. You don't get no choice in this. It is way above your worries to be worrying about who is going to be the ruler of your realm. Next, it is Italy. So there are some works of art that you start with. You can see them on the screen now. They start with 2 currently when you start the game. And then there is going to be a bunch of advances as well. The first one is the Condottieri tradition. This is available in the Age of Traditions, plus 10% infantry power. You can have a lot of things here leaning towards that kind of mercenary gameplay, either hiring mercenaries or even like hiring out your armies as mercenaries for other people and getting some money through that kind of system. The next one is Renaissance Prince, obviously available in the Age of Renaissance. This is skill of new artists plus 10%, so making your artist that little bit better. I think relatively famous around here for some artists. And then the next one is the Age of the Condottieri. This is in the Age of Discovery, mercenary maintenance minus 10%. The next one is encouragement of philosophers. This is available in the Age of Reformation, max literacy plus 5%. And with that, that is the end of the structural content. There is obviously going to be a bunch more of it, but that is what they wanted to show us today. Next, they're going to show us some events that can happen in Milan. The first one here being a growing power in northern Italy. This is all around obviously Milan consolidating some power, and then also obviously influencing the realms around them. So we must concentrate around a central power. That is the historical option, or let us reach out to noble heads of other cities, a little bit more friendly with everyone that is around you. The next one is the Visconti family of Milan. During the reign of Azzo Visconti, as the head of the Signoria of Milan, the political situation is in the process of undergoing a significant transformation, and this is all around that happening. So the first option is patience, our time will come, or the second one, Visconti will prevail over his scheming family at once. This is all around dealing with that kind of situation. And if you choose the historical top option, we will grant the Visconti city-states to the patricians. Our patricians will gain plus 5% estate satisfaction. As long as we remain fractured under the Visconti city-states noble privilege, our legitimacy and control over our territories will suffer. So if you have to implement this for some reason, you've then got to try revoke this in the future to help you. And you can see here the Visconti city-states. This gives maximum control minus 5%, monthly progress towards decentralization plus 0.05, and then you can see the estate satisfaction changes upon granting this privilege. The patricians pretty, equal about this. You get some other bonuses due to the event itself towards that, but all the other ones not quite as happy that you're giving power to the patricians and kind of weakening your own power at that point as well. But you can see that you're probably going to choose this, I guess. I'm not too sure. I guess it depends what you're doing in your campaigns as Milan. The next event is the legitimization of power. This is Azzo Visconti. Once again, the prominent nobles of Milan, spearheaded by the great Azzo Visconti, have come to us with a delicate proposal. Very well, Azzo Visconti will have his crown, or you can say their grasp for power will not have our seal on it. The next event is the Emperor's response. A messenger has arrived from the Holy Roman Emperor. According to the newsbearer, the Holy Roman Emperor has decided to recognize our bid for the Milan crown. This recognition solidifies our authority and strengthens our position within the empire because you are part of the HRE as you start with Milan. We will weave our own story. We will become a monarchy. We will also get an advance. It doesn't say which one here. I guess that's kind of hidden out for some reason. You'll also get the autocracy government reform. We will revoke the city-state modifier for the patricians. And then next, it's -7 stability. And then you will also get a societal value change towards centralization. And that's going to obviously help you consolidate your power. Now you are a monarchy and try, bring the monarchy to Italy and see how that plays out for you. The next event is the cloth industry of Milan. In 1339, the cloth industry in Milan thrives. Skilled artisans weave fine fabrics, and this is all around that kind of historical thing that happened here. So let us invest further in this profitable venture, or we cannot afford this. I guess if you just don't have the money, you might not implement this. But what does it do? We can see that next. This is the estate privilege, silk output plus 10%. Fine cloth output plus 10%. Monthly progress towards capital economy 0.05. I guess if you don't want to empower the burghers, you might not want to do this, but I think that plus 10% output is probably going to outweigh any negatives that this might entail for your realm. The next event, I'm not going to try pronounce it. My Italian, not so good. At an age when our people are conquering new heights in Renaissance art, the talented sculptor Belducci approaches the ruler with a humble request, and he's basically asking you if you can make a work of art for your realm. Money isn't an issue, you could just pay to do this, or you could say, but it isn't infinite either, so I don't have the money to do this. If you do choose to do this though, you will get the work of art that you can see here, the Ark of St. Peter the Martyr, and this is a statue, and you will get this in Milan, and then that will also give you some culture-related bonuses, some prestige as well, if I remember correctly, and that will help your realm as you progress. The next event is the Cathedral of Milan. The construction of the cathedral has reached its completion. Skilled craftsmen and architects have worked diligently to create this magnificent cathedral. This is a declaration of the superiority of our culture, or we cannot afford such frivolous expenses. If you do build this, you can see here the Milan Cathedral, who made it, how good it is. It is a masterpiece in this example. It is a monument, although I would have thought it was a building. I'm not too sure. I can't remember exactly what the types of work of art are, but I thought you could get building ones, but maybe I am mistaken. When it was created, and obviously it was created in Milan, you can't move entire cathedrals across the world, can you? And with that, that is the end of the Milan side of things. As always, this is just some of the content coming to Milan. There is plenty more when you actually play the game. The other half, as they mentioned now, is going to be about Naples. And again, you can see the intro here, what's been happening in the Kingdom of Naples in 1337, where might you find yourself, and what might you want to do as you continue in your campaign. So you can see the Kingdom of Naples, the flag here. You can see the current ruler, King Robert of Anjou, obviously a very Italian man. Primary culture is Neapolitan. Primary religion is obviously Catholicism. 65 buildings, 2.5 million people, so quite a big realm actually. 111 gold, 27,000 troops. They are on the coastline, so they have 31 ships when you start. You can see the breakdown of the culture. Most of it is Neapolitan, but you have got some Sicilians, some Greco, and some Medians. And then religion, you have got mostly Catholicism, but because of the history here, you have got some Orthodoxy and a couple of other religions as well. Next, they're going to show off some maps around this. So this one is very easy. They're just going to show you all of Naples, pretty much, all the realm here. You can see the harbors, you can see the different areas around here. And then the next screenshot is the political version of this. Obviously where the realm was at the start of the game. In the next screenshot, you can see the political version of this. You've got Naples, you've got Provence, you've got some Aegean islands as well that are in some kind of union with them. You can see the darker green. That is related to the situations that were talked about on Wednesday. They're like the southern half of that situation. If you are interested in that and you haven't watched it, do watch my last video on the channel around EU5. That covers, as they said at the beginning, the Italian wars and everything that happened before that as well. So this realm, obviously a major player in that, as they do lead the Guelph IO in that situation. And then similar to Milan, they do have some works of art as well. You can see the St. Louis of Toulouse crowning his brother Rupert, and this is a work of art. Doesn't finish what this is, but it is talking about the current king, King Robert the Wise. and this is a masterpiece painting, and this is going to help you again in that kind of cultural side of the game. Next, they're going to show off some of the advances. The first one, the University of Naples. This is available in the Age of Traditions. Institution growth is 10% better. The next advance is linked to academia. This is available in the Age of Renaissance. Max literacy plus 5%. It's going to make sure your realm is that little bit smarter, which is going to help you with a bunch of areas of the game. The next one is Encourage City Living. This is available in the Age of Discovery. Possible burgers in towns and cities plus 500. That is going to help you with buildings, building up your industry. You will have more people to work in those buildings. Town and cities migration attraction 0.2. So that is going to get people to move to the cities and again, help you build up your industry, get people out of the countryside to work in the factories, have a happy life. They could be out in the Italian countryside, having a good old time, but no, come to the cities, work in our factories. Thank you very much. The next one is Expanded the Arsenal. This is available in the Age of Reformation. Shipbuilding speed plus 10%. Obviously, the location in Naples, you're going to be doing a lot of naval focused things during your campaigns. And then next, they're going to go through some of the events that happen. The first one here, the will of King Robert the Wise. The king is growing older, and unfortunately, all his male descendants have perished. He doesn't have a legitimate male heir. We will not give away Naples. Giovanna will rule, or we will respect the tradition. King Anjou Caroli will inherit. So you can decide how you want to progress. If you do that top one, we will not give away Naples. We will change the succession law to cognatic primogeniture. The King of Hungary will not like us quite as much because obviously if you do this option, he will get left out of inheritance and this other person will take over instead. The next event is all around Robert and Francis. With the death of King Robert, the Kingdom of Naples weeps in sorrow as the news of the king's passing spreads like a mournful whisper. And if you do the top option, bring Francis, the famous philosopher, to his burial. This will cost you 25 gold and the Papal States will receive our petition, so he will then help you during his lifetime. The next screen is if you do choose to, change the inheritance ways. Queen Giovanna, you can see her current stats here. Not the best. I guess maybe you're going to have to work on her and get her that little bit better as you do play. And then obviously the realm is still mourning the loss of King Robert. The next event are several possible outcomes. So the husband's crown is the first one. The consort is not satisfied with his position in the Neapolitan court. He is the royal court consort, but the will of the old leader Robert gives full powers to the queen, leaving him as a mere figurehead. So he's just kind of sat on the sidelines. Hey, it's perfectly fine when the queen has no power. But if the queen is the ruler, I'm a man, I should have power. What is all this about? So he's going to go to the Pope and say, hey, I should have equal power with the queen. So he is right to complain. He and the queen are equals, or he is just the consort of the queen and nothing more. Hey, let her have her time. What are you doing, dude? And then the next event is the Hungarian King of Naples. Black news. The prince consort has conspired with the King of Hungary. Together they have bribed the Pope, asking him to crown the consort as King of Naples. Blinded by coin, the Pope has accepted. He's been bribed. Who would have thought that the Pope would side just based down to money? It's obviously what God wanted. God said, hey, if somebody gives you some money, definitely do what he says. So this is all around, some sneaky shenanigans, trying to get a man onto the throne. The consort has forced us, let the nobility move forwards, or if the Pope thinks Consort Andreas should be king, let it be so you can decide how you want to play this out. There are some other flavor events for Naples. The first one here, the Library of the Angevin Kings. Since the library was founded, every Angevin ruler on the throne of Naples has devoted resources to enlarging the library and its collection. No matter who rules, the library will never stop getting bigger. Or you can say, dead people have nothing to teach us. A little bit harsh, but that is the option you can choose. I guess if you have no money, you might have to take that option if you want to. The next event is Lorenzo Valla. An excellent lecturer, Lorenzo Valla, has recently met the Queen, sparking the interest of the sovereign in his skills. And this is a historical event. You can see that in the blue bordered text. Hire him at once, let him have the school at most, or what if he is a spy? And you can decide which one of those you want to do. The next event is exposing the donation of Constantine. This was allegedly granted to Pope Sylvester in the 4th century. It is a forged Roman decree which bestowed the papacy with seniority over the 4 other patriarchal sees and the rights of the western portion of the empire. Spread the work wide and far, or do not publish this work. And with that, that is the end of the Naples side of content and also the end of this dev diary. Let me know what you think about this. Are you going to be playing in Milan? Are you going to be playing in Naples? This, with addition to the dev diary on Wednesday, looks like there's a lot going on in Italy. As we know, there's also Venice, Genoa. You can play as the papacy. There's so much going on here, as happened historically. I think it's going to be a very fun place to play. A lot of stuff going on. And again, this is just some of the content you will get in this area. They do say the end here. We are getting a Tinto Talks on Wednesday and a Tinto Flavor on Friday. They just don't know at the moment who's going to be giving those and what they're going to be on. They do mention here, and it is quite funny, no shadow release announcement craziness regarding it, please. They obviously hang around on Reddit. They hang around in the Discord. They've seen the kind of craziness that happened in the last couple of weeks. So they are saying here, guys, no shadow release next week, unless, maybe that's what they're saying to make us think there wouldn't be one, but there is actually going to be a shadow release next week. Maybe we're all going to be playing Naples next Wednesday, and that's what they don't want to give away. Anyway, we'll leave it like that. We'll let the conspiracy theories go ahead. They do also mention here, although they're not in Sweden, they are a Swedish studio in many ways, and obviously there's a lot of summer holidays coming up, so we might see some variation in the schedule during the summer, and then they'll get back to the normal schedule in the future. But with that, we'll leave it there for today. So hit that like button if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here. I'm covering EU5, all the news, and I also cover Crusader Kings in a very similar manner. But with that, we'll leave it there, and I'll see you all in the next one.